Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room again. Now today I've just come with it's not a tutorial, it's just a couple of tips that some people have brought up to me, and they're a bit confused about when I refer to 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch in measurements. So I thought I'd just do a quick little tip with my trimmer just to show you what I mean and how easy it is to work out 1/16 and 1/8. So okay, so here we go. So on my trimmer we've got the 1 inch mark to the 2 inch mark. So if you count up every little notch between the 1 inch and 2 inch, which we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that gives you 16 1/16. So that's how that you work out if you need, say for instance, you need 5/16 and you want to work out how that is. So just working between the 1 and the 2 inch as an example, each notch is 1/16 of an inch. So you would just count every single notch. If you wanted to find out 5/16, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is one notch just past the 1 1/4 inch. So that's how you work out when you have, if I refer to 1/16 or 6/16, you just have to count every little notch is 1/16. Okay, now when it's 1/8 of an inch, what that is that if you count up between the 1 inch and the 2 inch again, if you count up 2 notches, so every 2 notches, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's every second notch I've counted. So 2 notches would be 1/8 of an inch. So between the 1 and 2, you would have 8 of them. So say you had to work out 6/8. Okay, if I said I wanted it to be 6/8 of an inch, you would count up every second notch to 6. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which works out to be 1 3/4, which I would tell you 1 3/4. But just so, I hope that helps you understand how to work out 1/16 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. Just remember, 1/16, you count up every single notch between, for example, as we said, between the 1 and the 2 inch, you would count up every notch, because one notch on the Stampin' Up trimmer is 1/16 of an inch. If we wanted to find out, say, 6/8, remember 1/8 of an inch is every second notch. So if I said 7/8, you would want to count up every second notch 7 times, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which would be just 2 notches before the 2 inch mark. So for the 1/8 of an inch, it's every second notch that you count is 1/8 of an inch. For 1/16 of an inch, it's every notch. So one notch is 1/16 of an inch. So I hope that helps. Now the other thing that's been brought to my attention is sometimes in my tutorials I'll just be making something and I'll say to you, just measure down, line up, because I always use my grid paper to line up because I know that it's going to be straight. If I use a grid line going straight across, it's going to be straight. So you just have to make sure you're on the same grid line this side as you are on this side. But sometimes I might say to you that measure down 2 grid squares. Okay, so someone asked me, well, how big are your grid squares if we don't have the Stampin' Up grid pad? Okay, so a grid square is 3/16 of an inch square. Now we've just gone through the 1/16. Remember, the 1/16 is every notch on your Stampin' Up trimmer in inches. So if I say to you it's 3/16 square, that means that it's 3 notches on your Stampin' Up trimmer. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. So it's the 1 notch before 1 1/4 inch. So it's not 1 1/4 inch square, it's 3/16 of an inch square. So that is the size of the grid squares on the Stampin' Up grid pad. So on one side you will get your metric measurements, and then if you were to tear that off and turn it over, you would get your inches measurement. So it's really well worth buying a grid pad from Stampin' Up. Like, it's only $5.95 postage for orders up to $119 in Australia, and that also comes with a tracking number, so you can't get better than that. And then if you wanted to know what the postage is on your order after $119 in Australia, $120 and upwards is 5% on your order, on your retail order. So you would just say you were going to put in a $200 order, you just go $200 plus 5%, and that will give you, it'll add on the postage for you. But up to $119, it's only $5.95 postage with a tracking number in Australia. So you can have the heavy cardstock, heavy paper, grid paper pad, the heavy items. No matter what you order with Stampin' Up, if your order doesn't go over $119, it's only going to cost you $5.95 postage. What an awesome deal. That is just wonderful. Like, Stampin' Up look after us so well with the postage in Australia. So there's just a few tips that I wanted to share with you today, and I thank you for spending the time to listen to my tips today. And until my next tutorial, happy crafting.